Hello, everybody. Welcome. This is gonna be a quick tutorial on Red Earth. Well, I say quick. Oh. So, first of all, the password system is actually pretty simple. I actually put in the corner of the stream here, if you're wondering, the max level passwords for each character. In the original Red Earth, there was a password system, and the way that it would work is that you would level up by playing the story mode, and by doing that, you would gain moves and abilities. For example, level 0 Mei can air dash. I believe at around level 10 she can. So that's a pretty important thing to have. Before Capcom released this game for the fighting game collection, we defaulted to level 32. Now the interesting thing about the Red Earth release of this game is that there is an option to set level 32 passwords. However, since a lot of abilities that characters have are based on versus points, which is a different system from the EXP, stuff like Leo's Black Sword is inaccessible if you don't put in the password. So the password that's in the corner of the screen right now is a Black Sword Leo password. So it'll actually inherently make you a better character. Okay. Now I will show you. You can see here Leo has his Black Sword. This sword gives him a lot better hitboxes, basically. So that's a good one to consider. You're going to want to know that password anyway. On the password system, you can see that it is based on a 6-number system, 1 through 6, and those numbers directly correlate to the inputs on your controller. So light punch is 1, medium punch is 2, heavy punch is 3, light kick is 4, etc. Now, the notation that we generally use is not your standard Street Fighter notation. It is a notation where you refer to buttons. So, for example, this is Mei Ling's light punch, but we might say standing 1. Just for brevity. If it sounds confusing, it can be for initially, but it won't get too long before you're used to it. Speaking of which, let's just go through the moves you have. Your light punch, which is stand 1. Your stand medium punch, which is stand 2. You've got stand 3, stand 4, stand 5, and stand 6. You've also got jumping normals. You've got J1 through 6, and they all have different properties. And I will get into detail about air to airs. And of course, there's crouching versions of every move. There they are. Right, onto orbs. As you can see on the top left of the screen, I have some orbs here. And right now I'm pressing start, and that allows me to switch through each element. Now this is important because some elements are better than others. Considered the best element is ice. So yeah, we've got Ice Super here. It does the most damage. It is generally used for, well, I say the most damage. It does the most damage overall. You're mainly going to want to use it for anti-airing, but I'll get into that later. Kenji is weak to this element, which is one of the reasons why he's the worst character in the game. Because it's such a good super to be bad. Like, it's a bad super to be weak to because it is such a good super. If you mash elemental super, icicles will come out faster for ice, and this will apply to most supers. Now, after ice, we've got meteor. It's not one you're going to see often. It has its uses, mainly again anti-airing. I know it's good against Tessa because she's weak to Meteor. One thing I should point out, the startup of each elemental super has a hurt box. So you're going to want to you're going to want to use that to your advantage. It's mainly used as a good reversal option, so as long as you have an orb, you will have that option as a reversal. The only thing that can really beat it is a very well-spaced mailing command grab, but it's not that easy to do. Now, after that, we've got poison. I will demonstrate the hitbox now. You can see there he got hit. I just mashed the super there so it would get more hits. Basically, it goes along the ground. The main reason I would use poison would be for after you grab someone. A lot of the times you can follow up with a poison super. Obviously, this is dependent on character to character, but most characters can do it. I don't believe none of the main cast are weak to poison. It's only some boss character. It's only like one boss character that is. HB, a student of ours, has made a great point. If you decide to use Poison Super, it is most effective against Leo. Thank you very much. Next up is Fire. This is another element that Tessa is weak to. I will demonstrate it now. I mashed it there so it would do more hits. It can be good for reversal if it's not blocked. Yeah, as you can see there, not all the flames hit him, and he could easily run up and do whatever he wants to you in that short amount of time. So be careful with that super. Also, if he jumps, this problem is exacerbated. So if you try to hit him with this, even if he gets hit by this, he's not even knocked down. He's got a lot of time to do whatever he wants. I would recommend not using that super as an anti-air unless you are certain that it is going to kill. Wind super. This is an interesting one. Leo is weak to it, so it is good for that. It does a lot of damage to him. And Mei Ling's also has, in theory, the best wind super when she mashes it. There are some flaws with it, though. So it is pretty decent for reversal because it actually is quite hard to punish even on ultimate guard. There is one problem with it, though, is that it doesn't have a hurt box behind it. That was poorly demonstrated. Yeah, so he's already behind me by the time that super's over. So it is pretty risky if they don't ultimate guard it. A lot of things can happen with that super. I would use it with caution. Final super is Lightning. Now, this super is probably the second best, besides from Ice. And when I say super, I mean second best Mystic or super. It covers most of the screen immediately, especially if you mash it. Now the only problem with this move is that it is a bit based on RNG, like a lot of the things are in this game. So there is a good chance that if you do it like there, you might not immediately hit them. I would recommend using this against a jumpy melee because she is actually weak to this element. I think I might as well go into the actual supers themselves. So each character has by default 2 supers usually. It's usually associated with their kick and their punch, and that is powered by orbs. So not only do you get access to these elements from orbs, is you also get access to your supers. So there's a Mei Ling's punch super, there's a fireball, that's just double quarter circle forward and then punch. That's quite a good move, but yeah, that takes up one of her resources. Another one she has is her kick super, like so. Now you're probably wondering, how do you recover this resource during gameplay? And it's actually quite simple. Right here, there's a chest that spawned. When you go down on it, it'll pick up. If you go to it and pick it up, it will come into your inventory. Now, how do these orbs spawn? Most of the time, actually no, every single time an orb spawns, it's because someone got knocked down. So you see right there. Now, the more times you knock someone down with the same thing, it's less likely to spawn again. So yeah, basically any situation which knocks someone down, it might spawn an orb chest. It's most likely going to. There can't be 2 chests at the same time. There can only be 1 chest on the screen at the time. So it might be good to keep that in the area. Now, why is this important? Why it spawns and when it spawns? The main reason is that a lot of your grounded neutral is going to be based around when orbs spawn, because most characters really want them. Obviously, it's not like in other games where you can like build it as a resource in the corner or by doing specials. You need to pick them up. So because of the way rolling works in this game, this could lead to some interesting scenarios where you're trying to fight for the orb, but you're also trying not to get killed by the other opponent. It's also, the max amount of orbs you can hold is 3. So if you have 3 orbs and you see an orb spawn, and you might be optimal just to pick it up anyway, just so your opponent doesn't have it. One more thing about orbs, they can spawn if you stun. Will I be able to stun this Leo? Maybe. There we go. There you go. Whenever someone gets stunned, there is a chance an orb will spawn too. This is what can lead to most TODs in this game. Because sometimes you need more than 3, or you only have 1 orb and you need to pick up more. And that's how a lot of TODs can happen. Especially with melee. Melee is one that really wants that. We should talk about ultimate guarding because it is quite important. Ultimate guarding is a state. When in this state, if you are hit, you can... basically, if you ever played Street Fighter Alpha, Street Fighter Alpha 2 specifically, it is an alpha counter. It's even the same input on hit. So this is the parry state. You will start flashing red for a couple of frames. I believe it's about half a second. Obviously, there's quite a lot of recovery on that. Yeah, it's about an entire second it lasts for. It doesn't cost any resources to alpha counter. So the catch is that you have this state where you have to predict whether they're going to hit you or not. If somebody reads that you're going to do that, they can punish you in many ways. But I will now demonstrate how this works. So there you see I had like a flashing state. It even makes the same sound effect, funnily enough. And with that I can I can basically I can negate chip is the main thing. That's actually, this game does have chip kill, I forgot to mention. So it is a good tool for if you want to, as you see there, he actually did a bit of chip there whenever he does that special. Normals don't do chip. The only thing that do chip are specials and supers. So yeah, it's pretty important for that. It's also important for making sure your guard isn't broken. I will show you what that looks like now. Also, you can ultimate guard while in block stun. So I'm gonna let the first few hits of this hit me, and I can ultimate guard to prevent my guard from breaking. Now, what do you do after you ultimate guard? Well, I'll show you. So you have access to an ultimate counter punch or an ultimate counter kick, depending on which character you are. That there was my kick, which is a knockdown, and Mailing also has a punch version, which I'll now demonstrate. The input is reverse quarter circle back punch or kick for Mailing. Some characters, and by some characters I mean Tessa, only have reverse quarter circle back punch. So they only have one. There's the punch counter. Now I'm going to stop them from doing that. Right. I think I forgot to mention on ultimate guard and ultimate guard counter. I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, you can do it before or during block stun. But if you get guard broken, obviously you can't do it anymore. One more thing, you cannot do it in the air. So that is the one place where you're going to see a lot of guard breaks take place, is when you're in the air. It is a grounded state. Super jump is good. However, it can be dangerous. How do you do super jump? I know you're probably asking. You just do down and up. It's the same as most games. you will hear the sound effect if you've done it correctly. And in this state, you can input multiple buttons if you're fast enough. Or you can, basically you have freedom of movement on like the whole axis. You can control your jump, unlike with regular jump where you are fixed to an arc. Now this can be a good or a bad thing, because if you super jump too much, as I mentioned before, you will get ice, you could potentially get ice supered. There are some exceptions to this. Some supers and some normals have the ability to unblockable you in the air, even if you are blocking, you can still get hit by those specials or supers. Most notable is Mei Ling's first hit of her DP, her light DP, and Tessa's tricycle super. Now let's talk about dashing. Each character's dash is unique. Mei Ling's here, as you can see, she dashes very low to the ground. What this actually means is that she can avoid a lot of moves where normally most people can't. If, say, for example, Tessa were to throw a fireball, got hit by the last one. It isn't too difficult, but it is something that you kind of need a bit of practice with in order to get consistently. Anyway, let's actually have a look at the other two characters so I can show off their dashes. Leo's dash looks pretty normal. However, yeah, Leo's dash is unique. He can cancel his dash into any one of his specials. That includes his ultimate guard. So like you can do it with this. You can go that. There's a lot you can do. I believe you can also do it with super. Yeah, basically it makes his approach game very deadly, because he can as most characters, you have to be kind of careful with their dash, because you might get hit out of it. Leo can do a lot out of it. Most Leos will dash cancel into ultimate guard, because it's such a useful tool to have, especially if someone's trying to zone you. Kenji's dash is interesting. I'm going to show it to you now. Kenji's dash, excuse me, actually not that good. The only thing it really does is this, which you think would be interesting, but he is like I'm pretty sure you can grab him the entire time he's doing this. He does, however, to make up for it, he does get a double jump, which is nice, nice movement option. But yeah, he got the short end of the stick on that dash thing. Yeah, you could hit him during the whole thing, so it's not great. Most characters have at least two. The only character that doesn't is Tessa. So throwing is interesting in this game. Most throws can be either teched or softened. That's the terms we use anyway. To soften a throw, you have to. That's interesting. Oh, I have it so he. Oh. The main way you're going to want to do this is by inputting a direction. So what's happening here is that I'm grabbing the Mei Ling and they're tapping forward at the right time, and that turns that into a tech. Now, if I did this grab, that is untechable, but you see there they did a little animation there when they bounced off the ground. Yeah, you can either tech grabs or soften them. Some grabs can be teched and softened, some grabs can't do either. Generally, it's easier just to mash the direction in which they're facing. If you want to tech, that's the main way. If you want to soften, you usually have to tap down on the ground the moment you land, which is what this character's doing right here. Whenever you knock a character down, they are put in a state of pursuit. The main way to pursuit for most characters is to do up and kick. Usually medium or heavy. Actually, I'm gonna double check if it is medium. It is. So yeah, you do a little animation there, and you go after them, and you do a bit of extra damage. This can be good if you want to finish off an opponent. However, it does put you back in a state of neutral at best. At worst, if you do it too late, like there, doesn't hit them at all, you're in a state where you can be easily punished. So be careful with that. Okay? Don't want to be hit by pursuit. Because maybe you want to go and grab that orb instead. You never know what's going to happen. Speaking of, let's talk about rolling. So when you're knocked down, you can either roll forwards or you can roll backwards. Now, why is this important? It makes it so not every Oki situation is guaranteed. So if you wanted to melee someone with, let's say, a command grab, you're going to have to kind of predict which way they're going to go. Now, Mei Ling is interesting because out of all the characters, she's the only one that can change the duration of her roll, which makes her very hard to Oki. But for most characters, it's a consistent length. A lot of the times, an orb's going to spawn on you when you get knocked down. So your opponent is going to be usually going to be trying to keep up the pressure. You might want to roll back in order to avoid that pressure, and then come in closer in a more opportune time. You're going to want to be very careful with rolling, because if you roll in the same direction too much, if your roll gets red, you can end up getting you can end up having this happen to you on wake up, and you don't want that. That's very bad. Basically, each move has a specific stun value it can assign to your character. It's not shown on the training mode, unfortunately, but it is a thing that is there. Different moves have a specific amount of stun it'll do, and if you chain those moves, you can make the stun go up really high. And when you make the stun go up really high, you get this. You get a dizzy state where they can't do anything. But yeah, each character has a specific threshold you have to hit, and every time you stun them, that threshold goes higher. For the pecking order is Tessa, Mei Ling, Kenji, Leo. That's from lowest to highest stun requirement. So Mei Ling and Tessa are pretty easy to stun. Kenji and like I'm showing you here, stunned. Mei Ling and Kenji and Leo are a bit harder to stun. That's the order anyway. There are 3 types of stun in this game, and you might see some of them. So the first one is the one I did before we started this game, which is Duck Stun. This is guaranteed to put your opponent in a stun state, and it lasts a decent amount of time. You have a lot of time to set up stuff. The second type of stun is Real Star Stun. Now, Real Star Stun is like Duck Stun, except it does not last as long. Now, why do I mention Real Star Stun? What the hell is Fake Star Stun? Now, Fake Star Stun is stun, except all it does is basically put you in a state where as if you were being knocked down. The moment that you stand up from Fake Star Stun, you are immediately able to do anything. That means that you can block, you can ultimate guard, you can do super, you can do special, you can do anything. So it's not real. Like, the stun is not real. It's still good though, because it does force your opponent. It is the one time where your Oki is real, because you're not able to roll. Exactly, you're not able to roll during that during any of the stuns. Even the fake one, you cannot roll when you get hit by it. Now, I will want to demonstrate how stun works on the character. So I'm gonna start stunning this Tessa. Yeah, eventually that combo stops doing stun to her because her stun level has come to a point where nothing will stun her. But as you could see, it didn't matter because she was dead. I believe it resets at the end of each round. I will need to double check that though with some scholars. You wanna see a throw loop? Okay, I'll show you. Does he not know? He doesn't know.
He doesn't know.
Hopefully I haven't come too late. I have to let you know of the horrors of throw loops. Your Redriff experience may depend on this knowledge. As Melvin mentioned before, each character's grabs can be catched or softened, but if you fail to do this, and your opponent is evil enough, they may attempt to grab loop you. Every character has one, so you're never safe from them. Hell, in some circumstances, Bailey's kick grab is loopable, and you can't even escape that one. Too many hopeful and wide-eyed prodigies have lost their lives to the grab loop in the past, so please, watch my video on grab check before it's too late!
Yeah, so that is pretty much it for the section on general mechanics. I hope I covered most stuff to your satisfaction. If there are any questions, I'm happy to take them now. Yeah, a lot of characters have multiple I'll have multiple level 32 passwords. The only character where this really applies to is Leo and Tessa. Leo has all his different swords, of course. I think you can only have maximum 2 elemental swords, so the different passwords apply to that. Tessa can have this. Yeah, Asma. Tessa can have the Sun Staff instead of the Wood Staff. This doesn't change her gameplay much, but it does make some of her funky combos a bit easier. Yeah, so Mega, to answer your questions, other characters do have multiple levels with 32. Loads of characters have multiple level 32 passwords, but it only really matters to Tessa and Leo. Okay, I will see you in a bit. Be right back.